Have you ever stopped to think why some people seem to get trapped in toxic relationships over and over again, while others somehow escape untouched? Why is it that certain individuals become targets, almost like they were chosen? And here's the uncomfortable truth: they were. Not randomly, not by accident. Narcissists don't stumble into their victims, they study, observe, and select them with a precision that most people never even realize is happening. And today you're going to see exactly how that process works, step by step, so you can recognize it before it's too late. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just theory, it's a pattern, a silent system that plays out in real life every single day. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. The smiles that feel a little too perfect, the attention that comes a little too fast, the connection that feels almost magical, it's not coincidence, it's strategy. And the people who understand this protect themselves. The ones who don't become part of the story. Let's start with the first step: scanning. Narcissists are always watching, not in an obvious way, not like a predator in a movie. It's subtle, quiet, almost invisible. They enter a room and immediately begin reading people. Who looks insecure? Who seeks validation? Who smiles too quickly? Who avoids eye contact? They're not looking for the strongest person in the room. They're looking for the most emotionally accessible, the one who gives signals without realizing it. And here's the twist: it's not always weakness they're attracted to. Sometimes it's kindness, empathy, warmth, people who listen deeply, who care deeply, who give easily. Because to a narcissist, those traits are not beautiful, they're useful. They see generosity as an opportunity, emotional openness as an entry point. And while everyone else sees a good person, they see a door that can be opened. Now comes step 2, testing. This is where things start to feel a little strange. They might make a small joke at your expense, just to see how you react. They might ignore a message, then come back with charm. They push, then pull, and they watch closely. Do you laugh it off? Do you chase their attention? Do you try harder to please? Every reaction you give teaches them how far they can go. And most people fail this test without even knowing they were being tested, because they interpret it as normal interaction. A bad day, a misunderstanding, but for the narcissist, it's data, it's information, it's confirmation. And once they realize you won't push back, that you'll tolerate small discomforts to maintain connection, they move to the next phase. Step 3, mirroring. This is where the illusion becomes powerful. Suddenly they seem perfect for you. They like what you like, they believe what you believe, they understand you in a way no one ever has. It feels rare, special, almost too good to be true. And that's because it is. They're not showing you who they are. They're showing you who you want to see. They reflect your dreams back to you, your values, your desires, your emotional language, and the more you open up, the more accurate the reflection becomes. It creates a bond that feels deep, but it's built on imitation, not authenticity. And here's the dangerous part: when someone feels like your perfect match, you stop questioning them. You start trusting faster than you should. Then comes step 4, emotional hooking. This is where the attachment locks in. They give you intense attention, affection, validation. It feels like you're finally seen, finally chosen, finally valued. And just when you begin to relax into that feeling, they pull it away. Not completely, just enough to create confusion. And that confusion creates obsession. You start asking questions. What changed? Did I do something wrong? How can I get that version of them back? And without realizing it, you begin chasing. And this is where control begins, because the moment you start seeking their approval, they gain power over your emotions. Now we reach step 5, control and dependency. At this point, the dynamic has shifted. Slowly, gradually, almost invisibly. You're no longer just interacting, you're invested. Emotionally, mentally, sometimes even physically. And they know it. They begin setting the tone, deciding when to give attention, when to withdraw, when to reward, when to punish. And the most dangerous part, it doesn't feel like control. It feels like love. It feels like connection. It feels like something worth fighting for. because your brain has already linked them to emotional highs, and now you're trying to maintain access to those highs, even if it costs you your peace. So let me ask you something. How many times have you felt drawn to someone instantly, only to feel confused later? How many times did something feel off, but you ignored it because the connection felt strong? That's not coincidence. That's the process. And once you understand it, you start seeing patterns instead of people. But here's where things get even more interesting. Narcissists don't just choose victims based on weakness, they choose based on compatibility with their strategy. Someone who questions too much gets discarded early. Someone who sets boundaries quickly becomes inconvenient. But someone who doubts themselves, who seeks reassurance, who wants to believe in the good, becomes ideal. And that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means there's something they know how to exploit. Because the truth is, the same traits that make you a great partner, empathy, patience, emotional depth, are the exact traits that make you vulnerable to manipulation, if they're not balanced with awareness. Now think about this. What if the biggest red flags aren't obvious? What if they come disguised as intensity, as passion? Because that's where most people get trapped. They confuse emotional intensity with emotional safety. They think, this feels different. And they're right, it's engineered. And once you see that, everything changes. You stop chasing intensity and start valuing consistency. You stop being impressed by words and start watching actions. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, how do I feel around them? Because that question reveals everything. Here's something most people won't tell you. Narcissists lose interest when they can't gain control, when they realize you're observing instead of reacting, when you don't rush to fill silence, when you don't tolerate subtle disrespect. The game stops being fun for them, and they move on, not because you weren't enough, but because you were too aware. So the real power isn't in avoiding narcissists completely, because you can't always do that. The real power is in disrupting the process, breaking the pattern before it completes, recognizing the scan, resisting the test, questioning the mirror, refusing the hook, and rejecting the control. And that starts with one simple shift, awareness, because once you understand how they choose, you stop being an easy choice. You become someone who notices, someone who pauses, someone who doesn't rush into emotional investment just because it feels good in the moment. So the next time someone comes into your life and everything feels perfect too fast, ask yourself, is this real or is this reflection? The next time someone pulls away and you feel the urge to chase, ask yourself, am I responding or am I being conditioned? These questions might feel small, but they change everything. Because at the end of the day, narcissists don't win because they're smarter. They win because most people are unaware. And awareness breaks the entire system. It turns confusion into clarity. It turns emotional chaos into control. It turns you from a target into someone they can't figure out.